So it's a thing I just don't understand. People say they love being outdoors. They're outdoorsmen, outdoors folk, outdoorsy, whatever you want to call it. And then they proceed to come out and trash the place. What's going on? It is mid-July. It is hot. And I am out at Eales Preserve, just locally. Do a little hike. It's gonna rain later on tonight and all day tomorrow. So if you're gonna get out, do a little hiking. I was gonna do something earlier, but I slept in. Something that's kind of surprising me right off the bat is it is mid-July. Look at these trees. I mean, we are up on top of the mountain, but we've got a lot of trees up here. They're already turning yellow. It's only July. That could be, I spoke a lot the past year and a half or so about how wet it's been. That has kind of changed in the last month. We've had little bits of rain here and there, but a lot of times what they've been forecasting for rain for us doesn't hit us right here. The valley here, the Lackawanna Valley, gets like shields up mode a lot of times, where the weather would just split around us. So the weather's been hitting around us. Like yesterday, it rained down south of us in Wilkes-Barre, but we got nothing up here. It was beautiful all day. So just kind of weird weather. It's kind of surprising to see trees changing already in July. But I have to look back through my photos. It may have happened. I do that every year. Oh, the birds up here. I do that every year. I hear birds. I see leaves starting to change. I'm like, that seems early. And I go back and look at photos. I'm like, no, happens like that every year. I don't know if it's going to come through because I'm using a GoPro, but on this tree right in front of me where that bird is singing, I can't see him, there's, looks like leaves turning red on that. Yeah, it looks like, let's see if I can get close enough to one of those trees. See if it's actually leaves turning red. That seems strange. But the plan today is, I think I'm going to take a different path down to the old reservoir that's no longer there. I haven't been there since the winter, since they drained it. So we'll go down and see what that looks like now that's had a few months to recuperate, and see what it looks like as it starts to get back to its natural state. Just an idea of how dry it is here. If you've watched any of my other Moosic Mountain videos, I usually have to cross right there because this is so deep. There's so much water running through here. Those are only rocks that are exposed. This is pretty dry. Less rainy past month or so than I thought. So we're gonna take this trail, the conglomerate trail, over to the View Loop, which will then take me over to the After 5 trail, which then takes me right down the side of the mountain. Right down to the old, I don't know what to call it now, it's not a reservoir anymore. The former reservoir. I do expect to come across a few people on bikes out in the parking lot. There's maybe 15 cars. Look at quite a few of them had bike racks on them. And if you're looking for a mountain biking spot, Eales Preserve is one of the top spots around here. A lot of trails from easy to challenging, I guess. I haven't mountain biked in a long time, but from what I can see, a lot of rocks. So if you're looking for like a technical challenge on stuff like that, but it's open to mountain bikes. And from what I hear, it's a nice place to mountain bike. It's a beautiful place to hike. So right down the trail, we come to the conglomerate trail. It's like a cartoon, goes both ways, right? This is a split. Last time I went to the right, this goes through all this. It's like an old, it's not really a boulder field, but these are heath barrens. It's a kind of a rare ecosystem in the Northeast, and that's how this place got saved. It's because it's a rare ecosystem. And this takes you through a really cool scrubby barren area with a lot of conglomerate in the trail. That's how it got its name, I suppose. But it splits, but it makes like an eye. It kind of goes out, it splits, and over there by those trees, it comes back together. So last time I was here, I did the upper trail. I'll do the lower trail today. It takes me to the same spot. There's such a diverse amount of plant life here that we don't get in other places. This fern, let me put my coffee down. This fern is really, really coarse. It's really kind of got like a thick leaf. Almost feels brittle. I don't want to mess with it too much. This is the only place I've ever seen them. And anything I've done to research it, I think it's called an eagle fern. I don't know. If anybody else knows what kind of fern this is, let me know. We don't get them in most places here. But we got these eagle ferns, we got blueberries and huckleberries. We've got scrub oak. There's some birch, there's some aspen, there's some ash, alder. We got basswood here. We've got maple. We got regular oaks. It's pretty cool, this preserve. I'm glad they preserved this. There is currently something going through the Pennsylvania systems where Pennsylvania is adding three new state parks. It's either 3 new state parks and an ATV park, or 2 state parks and an ATV state park. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I know there's 3 parks. One may be for ATVs, one may be an additional for ATVs. I'm not sure. They haven't really given the specifics on that yet. They haven't stated what they're going to do. If they're going to make 3 new parks, or if they're going to use existing preserved land like this to make them into new state parks. Now, interesting thing, and I've talked about this in other videos, this, maybe not this exact land I'm on, but up on that ridge, absolutely. The top of this mountain, the top of Moosic Mountain, before World War II, was purchased and slated to become Moosic Lake State Park. There's a lake up there, there's houses around it now. Ooh, we see snakes. But with the war effort, they needed the money, they sold the land. I think it'd be pretty cool if, with this expansion of state parks, if they were going to use existing land, if they revisited this area and made this a state park. It would be cool, not necessary. This is Natural Lands Trust that owns this. They do a fantastic job with this property. They leave it wild. They got the hiking trails. It's usually very clean. I only occasionally have ever... Oh, check out these birds. Oh, I'm so glad I was recording with it. So that was cool. I don't remember what I was actually saying, but I think I was talking about how Natural Lands does a really good job at keeping this maintained. Only a few times I've ever come out here and found garbage. The people who use this land, the local people, and the Natural Lands Trust, they do a great job of maintaining it. So if this doesn't become a state park, I wouldn't be upset, because it's awesome the way it is. And one of the reasons, it would be cool to have it as a state park, but I know I've said this before, it's embarrassing how many state parks and state forests and national park sites and NPS sites we have really close to where I live. It's sickening almost. All right, joined up with the other half of the conglomerate loop. It's back to a single track now. Go a little further here and find the view loop, which it's not really all that far. So I've seen my first people for the day over at the junction of the conglomerate and the conglomerate. Surprised, I thought I'd see more. I also thought I'd see some snakes. Haven't seen a single snake. Interesting. All right, if you are hiking out here at Moosic Mountain, Eales Preserve, whatever you want to call it, you do have to keep your eyes open. Definitely carry a map with you. Some of these signs are hidden. So we are now on Stonehenge Trail. I think it becomes Stonehenge where conglomerate meets. I guess technically conglomerate is a loop. It's like a lollipop, but it has another trail at the end of it. So Stonehenge, the Tupelo loop just goes out, kind of out that dead tree, and comes right back. So you want to make sure you have a map with you, and always check the kiosk out front if you're coming in the main entrance, because some of the trails, like After 5, aren't on that map, and that trail has been here for a very long time. So the map that I have doesn't show After 5. I don't know why. It's an older map, I guess, but I know it's there and I know where it goes. So and it's just an end to end. There's no other trails that come off of it, but there are in some spots just trails that have been made through the years, or maybe were here and then signs fell down and nobody ever mapped them out. So just be cautious, like anywhere. Make sure you have a map. The trails in here, though, are very much Pennsylvania trails. Big rocks, very rocky. Here's another idea of how dry it's been. It doesn't take long for the water to just dry up. This is usually running, and the last time I was down here, pretty sure the water was out to like here. Like it was probably 10 feet wide. That was only a couple of months ago. I think that was my first snake. Don't know what it was. It didn't rattle, so I'll continue on. And just like that, here we are to the view. So, like I said, if I continue on Stonehenge, up there about, I don't know, quarter mile to half mile, maybe a third of a mile, I'll run back into the view loop. This is not, there's no sign here, but this is the view loop. And we go this way. It's just simply because you do get the view if you go the long way. And it's a nice view of the valley. Now you got this big rock bald. I think it's probably about the best view down into the valley, and that's our view. So this is one of the better spots to get a view out into the valley, and that is, you can see part of Scranton, maybe part of Dunmore, Dixon City, Oliphant, Troop, Blakely, Peckville, and actually from here, no, maybe not. Let's see, what are you seeing from here? Yeah, you're seeing like Scranton and Dixon City, maybe part of Troop down there. Up that way, see that notch would be Scott Township. And then back behind that mountain is Clark Summit. Ooh, boy. So, yeah, that was the view. That was the best viewpoint there. Right up the trail from it. And the sign is now gone. This, I'm going to mark the GPS on this. I'll put this up on the website. I'll put a link to it in the description. But there used to be a sign right here that marked the After 5 trail. The rock pile's still there. It used to hold the sign. The sign is gone. So to the right is the view loop. Like right over those trees right there is the Stonehenge features. We're that close to the trail. This is the After 5 trail. It is not marked on the map I have. It is marked on the kiosk map, but there's no sign here anymore. So if you got a map that doesn't have it, you'll never find it. You'll just see this path and be like, oh, it's just an unnamed path. Let's just go out to a rock overlook. Now this will take you all the way down the side of the mountain. It's about 1.6 miles down to the former reservoir. So I will put the GPS up for this. If you're looking for the After 5 trail and you haven't been able to find it because there's no sign for it, that would be why. Well, that's not good. If you're missing a hooded jacket, I can't tell what kind that says. Looks like maybe a Nike. If you're missing a hooded jacket, it's out here on the After 5 trail. Lots of these little rock balls around. Some of them you got a view from, some of them you just have a view of the rock bald. But this one has this circle in it. Now, last time I was here, this was aligned as a peace sign. Someone has screwed it up. So, I like the peace sign. I'm going to put it back. There we go. Not perfect, but better than it was. All right, continue on. So here's a pro tip. When you're out hiking and you bring in something like this, like a coffee cup or a Gatorade bottle or something like that and you're done with it, you don't just chuck it. No, wrong answer. What you do is you put it in your pack or you carry it back out with you. The more you know. So just ducking down below the barrens here, the Heath Barrens end right about there, down into more of a forest area. It's been really overgrown. Something I forgot about this trail that makes it very atypical for Pennsylvania is in PA, usually if there's a hill, the trail goes right down the trail, or right down the hill, or up the hill, depending which way you're going. No, not this one. This is all switchbacks. It's like 1.6 miles from end to end, trail miles. But if you were just go right down the hill, it'd probably take about 3 minutes to get down there. Oh, this is cool. You can see down here where the old reservoir was. It looks very brown. But check this out. I don't think this was quarried. I think this is a natural. And that drops in probably 10 or 12 feet at deepest. That's pretty cool. And maybe it was quarried for the old reservoir, I don't know. But it doesn't look it. Just big chunks of rock shells. Okay, let's go see what's going on down here. Wow. Well, I was expecting more vegetation to have grown in by now. There is literally nothing in there. So you can see where the water used to come up to right here. Right here was the water line. All of this is this whole section right here. You can kind of see where this juts out. That came from the dam. They moved this over. This used to go straight over there. I mean, there's some grass starting to grow in here. Oh my God, look at all the garbage. This is why. This is why things get ruined. There's like shoes and bottles and cans, buckets. People were throwing this into the water. They come out here. So it's a thing I just don't understand. People say they love being outdoors. They're outdoorsmen, outdoors folk, outdoorsy, whatever you want to call it. And then they proceed to come out and trash the place. I don't know. I just think if you're gonna play the part, do it. So that little bit of water is all that's left. There's a barrel out there, a cairn. It was a nice little reservoir. This isn't much of a creek. I was expecting more water. All right, so out in the middle of the reservoir, and there are some disappointing things to see here, like that barrel, which wasn't put there when they took down the dam. That's been there for a while. It's all covered in mud. And there are just cans and shoes and bottles and buckets and stuff scattered all throughout here from so-called nature lovers who are out here enjoying nature and tossing their garbage into the reservoir. Not going to get started on that because it will be a 20-minute rant. But this is I would be completely below the water level right now. Maybe just the top of my head would be sticking out where I'm standing. And there's not as much of a creek here as I thought there would be. And it has been fairly dry, but you kind of see where it winds through. We'll come over here and take a look. So I came down from up there. And see how those rocks are stained red? And how red this mud is? Other than that, that's greasy looking. I don't know if it's coming through in the camera, but that's definitely, that's not good. And we're right by that. Like, this water looks clean-ish, right? But I don't know. I wouldn't trust that water source. That is disappointing. Disappointing to see. All right. I find it weird, nothing's growing in here. All summer, got some grass growing in here. There's nothing actually growing in here. So I've said this before when I first came down here. I don't understand the mentality behind getting rid of this reservoir. It's supposed to be ecologically friendlier than having the reservoir. First, I'm going to put up a picture or a video, whatever I can find, of what this looked like before, and you tell me if what I'm going to show you looks ecologically better. This was demolished at the end of last year. We're now in mid-July. Nothing has grown. This is really bizarre. So this is, they threw down hay. We got grass and stuff growing here, but then all through here, there's like anywhere they put the soil from the dam, they put down hay, nothing is growing in it. And what was growing is dead. With as wet of a year as we had, this should just be at least weeds, something. Why is nothing growing here? I still don't see this as an upgrade to the reservoir. I'm sure somebody has reasons, but I don't get it. I don't know. And that doesn't give me a warm, fuzzy feeling seeing that. And if nothing's growing in there and people were swimming in it, that was a drinking water source at one time. Here's the old sign for the old reservoir. Yeah, well, that doesn't really say. Please pack out what you pack in. Not leave litters for others to clean up, like barrels and buckets and bottles and shoes. They're all in the reservoir. Well, in the former reservoir. Swimming is not permitted. Probably because there's some funky stuff in there that wasn't allowing stuff to grow. I don't know. That's just weird. Maybe somebody can explain that to me. So I'm gonna head up. I'm just gonna go back the way I usually come in. Go back up to the Jeans Trail. Well, actually, I'm on Jeans Trail now. Take this out to the old access road, and probably up the Bruised Ego Trail back to the parking lot. So unless I see something really interesting, like a bear doing a tap dance or something like that, I probably will. Next shot will probably be right by the car. All right, so I'm only about 2 minutes from the car. This little reservoir I've seen in multiple states of it being filled. This is a good idea how dry it's been the last month. This is empty. Last time I was here, the water was up. It's like this grass line here. There's a big difference a month makes. So the Queehana Trail, the Bruised Ego Trail starts at the parking lot, goes through these woods, cuts out, goes across that water crossing, and cuts back in, back where I took the conglomerate loop. But instead of taking that, ooh, blueberries. Man, they're gonna be too tart. Instead of taking that, I'm just taking the forest road or the service road back up to the parking lot. It was a lot drier than I thought. I brought my water filter with me instead of my Nalgene for extra water. And there's really nowhere to filter it, so all the water I had left is that. So I'm pretty thirsty. It's warm, it's humid. So that's gonna do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Time to go get some water. See you in the next.